one. We're back stronger than ever. I go by the name of the new legal. This is Di-RRec Gaming. I got Resident Boxing. He's boxing. I got Resident Boxing Game in the building. I got Spar 117 in the building. And I got Roboted in the building all the way again from the UK. It's good to have him here. Shout out to the mighty chat pack community. And we dropping early today, y'all. We got a lot to talk about. We're excited about this 2006 to 2007 jump. I know if you're an Xbox fan, you're excited. Just like me. There's no news that keeps coming out that just bubbles the Xbox. There's no news. You can do nothing to Xbox right now. It's just consistently being here.
Oh, they're trying though, but they're failing.
They're failing. There's nothing that they can do. And with this latest report, it just guarantees.
Yeah, they are crying that latest report
of what Microsoft is doing with Xbox is working. And don't worry, people, we're going to prove it today. We are going to prove that today on Di-RRec Gaming. But before they do anything, let's pause for station identification. I'm really loving going mobile, y'all. I think I'm going to continue to do it. Thanks to everybody that comes out with us when we get together and do shows. When we get together and grab these mics and just perform on these stages. There's nothing like it. I got my man, Other Zinc, in the building. Jumped in to hit the like button. Can't participate. Have a great show. I'll listen later. P, that's my boy, Other Zinc. People out here working, doing their thing, man. You know what? Just for Other Zinc. Just for the Zinc for doing that, man. I gotta do what he wants me to do. I know he's gonna want me to do it, and we're gonna do it. And I think I'm gonna do it prematurely. So we're gonna do 2 intros today. Let's go for just for Other Zinc, man.
The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Okay, as I continue, I want to say thanks to everybody comes out with us, man. We love to do this stuff. We don't ever get tired, man. It's in our veins. We just love to talk about gaming, man. We love to present truths. There's a lot of victory.
The whole truth, so help us gaming.
Facts. There's a lot of finishing lap races that we're gonna cross the finish line on this show today. There's a lot of things that has happened and has transpired. Another prophecy down the drain. Before we get to that, though, I just want to say if you love what we're about, if you like what we do, please don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. If you're a true Xbox fan, you at home. If you're a real gamer, you at home. And if you're international, like my man Roboted, you are at home. And we thank you for making us international. Please hit the like button. Hit that notification bell. Never miss a beat on the 1s and 2s. We are here, people. We are here. Share, like, leave some comments below. We don't care if you're in right now. We don't care if you're stealth watching. We don't care if you watch us after the show. Leave some comments below. Share your thoughts. Become a family member of the chat pack. Get in here, get your voices heard. Listen, people, we don't care. You are a gamer. You deserve to be here. You could have been anywhere else. And for that, we're grateful. We come here to do one thing and one thing only. And like my man Resident Gamer said, we come here to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us gaming. So we got plenty of news to talk about. Y'all ready? It's not good to drive without your seatbelt. So y'all go ahead, buckle up. Welcome to Di-RRec Game.
The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Man, I don't know how y'all feel out there, but 2006 is going to be litty. Xbox is about to take the world by storm. There's a lot of things that Xbox is doing behind the scenes that is really leading up to this new technology. The experiences we're about to begin feeling on Xbox is going to be the first of its kind when you talk about a console manufacturer. There are things that are happening that no other console in history has been done or has been a part of. Of course, you're going to have your third-party brands that make these certain things, but we're going to have to put some respect on one console that did it already. We're going to have to understand that this big tech that's about to happen is for real people. I hope many of my people that I know, friends out here that are gamer friends, get their hands on such new tech. I hope as many people that can get this ROG Xbox Ally X can get it. But if you can't, by the end of this year, I wouldn't get it. That's my opinion. I would wait for the next handheld since you went this far. But if it's true to what's being about this little mini Xbox PC handheld, well, not handheld, little Xbox PC console little device that Microsoft might throw out this year, if that rumor becomes true, I wouldn't even worry about the handheld anymore. That's just my opinion. Now, if you want it, get it anyway. If you just on the go, you really want to keep your Xbox experience around you, then it's a must-have. It's a must-have. I love it. I take it with me. This is why we're doing the show now. This is why I'm able to do it at any times I feel like it, because it gives me the freedom to do it. And it gives us the enjoyment to come in when we can't afford to, when everybody can link up, we do this. Oh, I just got a question. How does a controller reduce cloud gain? Man, somebody just, that's dope. Somebody just sent this, and that's dope. It's from Gangstadamas on Twitter X. That's dope. That's dope. I'm gonna tell him right now. That's a good question by him. And that's one thing that we're talking about. And that's crazy because that just came in, people. That just came in. But that's another thing to see. That's crazy that he said that. But no, listen, we're gonna get this thing going. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Rez, I know you want to start off the show with some information. So go ahead, man. Feel free.
You know, we as a podcast, we talk about numbers a lot, right? We love numbers, right? Because one thing about the data, right? The data doesn't lie, right? The numbers are there. They're pulled from all the sources and put together by an analytics group or a group of experienced professionals to show kind of where things are in the industry in terms of everything from console sales to subscription services to DLC and everything else in between, right? Well, there's some interesting numbers that have come out recently again this week following Xbox's financials, which, you know, we all saw it coming. The narrative start up again. The Xbox is dead narrative. Xbox is not selling consoles. Xbox is becoming Sega, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of funny now that we're seeing that narrative get destroyed once again. Why do I say that? Maybe it's because Take-Two just released some information that I thought was very, very juicy. Some data that we've talked about on many occasions on the show. And
what was that? And what was that data, man? I'm intrigued to understand what that data is, because man, were we so right. Come on with it. I think you're stealing it. You're stealing but do it anyway. Steal it, Rez. Come on with it. Drop the missile. Drop it. Drop it. I don't know what happened to Rance. What happened to him?
Has his mic gone or something?
He just messed with me.
So as of 2025 of December, the Generation 9 consoles have combined sold 138 million. Now, when we say Gen 9, that does not include the Switch. So you naysayers out there, you people are like, oh, that includes the Switch numbers. No, it doesn't. It's just specifically.
Stop you right there real quick. Let me stop you.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is how stupid it is out here, people. You can't expose yourself this bad, people. Like, you can't do this to yourself. And we know that it's not talking about the Switch, right? Which is a Gen 9 console, because the Switch by itself almost sold 160 million consoles. So by itself, it could not be a part of this 138. It's killing you to know, because your narratives are destroyed. We told y'all that. The haters of Xbox can't stand to hear any good news about Xbox. But I told y'all before, years ago, that Xbox fans are not going anywhere. We're just not going anywhere. This last Xbox One number that was almost 60 million was real. It was unheard of, because if you listen to the whack-ass gaming media, you thought it only sold 30-something million. We thought it was only 35 million sold. We thought it was the worst thing ever. Now you just got this incredible news again, to where you think that something destroys Xbox in the United States. You don't understand how markets work. It's a market thing. Each market does not make the same amount of money value. So in the United States of America, we gave you that chart. PlayStation, after PlayStation 2, when the PlayStation 2 report on up, you're talking only 2.5 more million consoles. And that's the PlayStation 2, people. That's the highest selling PlayStation console in its history. But in America, it only sold 2.5 million more consoles. So in America, we don't care what PlayStation does, because it doesn't dominate Xbox. It never has. So what your hatred has done to you throughout these years, it consumed y'all. It has enraged y'all to the point where you can't even think straight. My man Resident Gamer Zero is about to come up on here and just expose how you guys can't even think straight. When the damn thing tells you this is Gen 9 only between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series. They confirmed it. This is not including the Switch 2 or Switch anyway, period. Just those two, because that's the report that the investors wanted to make. Go ahead, Rez. I had to get that off, man.
So, their blind loyalty, their hatred for the brand, and it's clouded their judgment. Really, it's clouded their objective way of looking at things, right? Because if we do the math and you split that up, yes, what you're talking about, Xbox has sold at least 50 million consoles. That's kind of funny, considering, we kept hearing, like you said, 30, 28, 33, 34, 29, always trying to downplay it, always trying to lower the number, and what we've come to find out is, turns out that the console sales don't really matter in the end anyway. You know why? Because of Sony's financial reporting in their own words, which they've come out and said recently. I don't know if you saw this. Let me bring up the quote here. Give me a second. So there was one key negative data point. They had mentioned increased hardware losses, indicating that console sales are becoming less profitable and more costly. Let me say that again. Console sales are becoming less profitable and more costly. What does that tell us, huh? Something that we've said multiple times on this show over and over again. The console sales are not what drives a business. It's not a sustainable revenue. It's never going to be a sustainable revenue because the profit margins on those devices are so fractionally small that it's not even worth it for them to continue pursuing that metric alone. That's why Sony has realized.
Money. Love. Shout out to Ray Cheat. Shout out to the Mighty Chat Pat in the
Ray
building.
Cheat. That's why they've shifted their focus to live service games. That's why they've shifted their focus to software sales and MAUs and subscription services, because those revenue are more sustainable and are going to drive higher profit margins, right? This is something that we keep telling these Sony fanboys over and over again, but it doesn't seem to not clicking, not syncing.
Facts, bro. Facts, that is.
Somewhere way, they were told a lie. They were convinced that that was the all driving metric, that drove success for a video game console company. Maybe way back in the day when hardware was cheaper, when the profit margins were higher back in the older generations. But that's long gone from now. That's not the case anymore. It hasn't been the case for a long time. So maybe these numbers will finally show them that, but I kind of doubt that, given the case. But what I find interesting is the fact that
let's go, baby.
64% of the United States plays video games. 64%. That's almost 3/4 of the entire country play video games.
Come on and join us, baby.
Video games are the #1 interactive entertainment in the world. We're #1. And Take-Two expects revenue to grow to almost $2 billion by the end of 2026. $2 billion. That's incredible. That really is. That just goes to show that gaming isn't slowing down. It's getting bigger. It's growing. There's a total of almost 4 billion gamers in the world. 4 billion. 3.86 according to Take-Two. So that was another staggering number. That's a lot of gamers, right?
Yep.
So it just goes to show that you can't pay attention to these clowns on social media, what they say, the media. They're driving a narrative. They have ulterior motives. They're not for the betterment of gaming. They're for their own selfish reasons. They want to gain notoriety. They want to gain profit. They want to use clickbait and half-truths and misdirections to get them to drive people into their website. They could care less about
just want to say this
video games. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good because you're gonna keep cooking. I just want to say this. What was it, 3.2 billion, something like that, to that estimate, right?
For 3.86 billion gamers.
3.86 billion gamers across the world. And look how many people don't pay attention to these articles. I just want everybody to think about that. 3.8 billion people. The fraction of who even pays attention to these gaming articles is so minuscule. It's sad out here. Okay, I'll send you another one. All right, no problem. I'll send you another one. That's right, Love Big Money. Xbox Game Pass is the greatest deal in gaming in history. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
In history. Go ahead, Rez. I just wanted to say that. Nobody's paying attention. That's why all these the teams are breaking up and everything. It's just nobody cares. People want to play these games. If you go and ask my son about any of these gaming articles, he'll barely about IGN. I heard about that. If I say it, oh yeah, I heard people at my school mention them, but that's about it.
Yeah, people are paying less and less attention to legacy media now. It's all about what their friends are saying or what their social media influencers are saying, or word of mouth. You know, they don't really care about what these sites are saying anymore. They don't read those magazines anymore, not like we used to. They care more about what's popular, what's fun, what are the YouTubers playing. That's what they care about, and Microsoft sees that, and Sony is starting to see it as well, that they need to expand their outreach. They need to approach it into where they can reach people where they're at, right? And they've said that too, right? They know that they know how many people play out there. I mean, you see those numbers, right? It's not impossible for them to reach 100 million subscribers, right? Given like how many people are out there. If they start putting everything on every device, which they already started, you know, with TV, phone, tablets, the new console, Magnus, they're going to have another smaller box. They have the handheld. I mean, they're already hitting all those strides to get to that goal, right? So now all they need to do is just keep increasing their marketing, keep increasing their outreach in terms of like their influence, you know, through YouTubes and different social medias. They need to continue with creating good quality content for Game Pass, which they're doing every month. Like this month alone has been amazing. They've already released a bunch of really well-known, well-received games on their service, all for a very low, affordable price. And it's not just Ultimate, right? You don't have to subscribe to Ultimate, right? You could still get Premium, or you could even get Essential, and you're still getting access to the majority of those games, right? They're giving you options. They're giving you options through their services. They're giving you options through their devices. They're basically the most consumer friendly, if you think about it, because like the other two are not doing that, right? They're forcing you to buy their box, right? Or buy a high-end PC, you know, like, which nobody can afford right now. Like the economy is really bad. The price of memory and PC components are extremely expensive. They're basically giving you the option to not even have to buy a device. You could play it straight from your phone, and you get all those games. And their cloud service is going to be the best in the business. They're going to have super fast, super seamless, very low latency, almost native experience to where you're able to run those games. And they're just starting, right? Like, so we'll see these numbers increase.
Look at my man, you know, Island Gaming Jay. What's up, baby? We gonna link soon. Smoke Capone. What's up, baby? We in the building. Let's go, y'all.
You know, Xbox is taking a long. They've definitely hit some bumps in the road, right? They made some mistakes, but they're starting to turn the perception around. Like people are starting to see it, right? They just need to keep continuing doing what they're doing and showing that, you know, people are gaming on their systems, and just kind of slowly destroy the narratives, because the narratives will get destroyed on their own. They already have. Just game, people. I mean, really, like, unless you're involved in Microsoft or Sony's financials, unless you're buying stocks or you have some sort of financial motives behind it, like, what's the point of playing analytic armchair businessman on Twitter? Like, what's the point of bragging about the console sales if Sony's not providing you the games on the console, right? Like, they even said in their report that they're looking forward to, and they're relying more on third-party revenue than they are their first-party. Like, what does that tell you? They even said that they're going to see a decline in revenue from first party because of their delays that they're going to have with their games. So they're even admitting that their games are going to get more delays.
Can I read this off for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
And Sony has started releasing its games on platforms that aren't the PlayStation. New data suggests it has brought in over $2 billion. That's living proof that for the companies making games, exclusivity is leaving valuable revenue on the table. This comes from Windows Central, and I told y'all this right now. I've already told y'all. The report 2030 Everything's multi-platform. So look, this whole thing about the next PlayStation 6, not 2029, like I told y'all before, but I didn't want to me. But look at you now, look at y'all now. And nobody to this day won't give me my flowers. Still, but that's okay. Because I'm gonna keep policies out here. And they're gonna keep showing because I'm just that damn good. I told y'all I'm a student of the game. Y'all don't want to give us none of our respect. Y'all don't want to give the realest his respect. I'm telling y'all that they, when we play,
in the end, exclusives are bad for us as consumers, and they're bad for the companies because they're leaving a lot of revenue on the table. You know.
Here's the thing, Rez. It's bad today. Let's just be honest. It's bad business today because the way things have changed. They don't want to change. It's like I said, this is VHS mindsets, right? So you got to be real with me. Okay, you want to have an old way of thinking, but I know you got a cell phone in your hand. Nobody's walking around with them big ass phones in their house. Nobody's got a dial-up phone no more. Nobody's using broadband. Hold on, you just told me you got a PlayStation 5. Or you got a Switch 2. You don't have a broadband console? Oh, you talk about OLED this and mini LED that. Wait a minute. You don't have a tube TV? So you playing games, you picking and choosing on when you want to think absurdly. Come on, man. Like, you got to understand something. I'm going to say this again. Things have changed. The exclusive route does not generate the money needed anymore because $1 million isn't the same that it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago. $1 million isn't that anymore. 1 million sales does not guarantee a hit. It doesn't because they burn 1 million. They burn 1 million and they sleep. But see, big bank takes little bank. So while 1 million can hurt another company, to Microsoft, 1 million is just $10. That's nothing for them. They don't even feel $1 million when they go. They don't feel it. They're like, what was that? I had a little nightmare. I lost $1 million. Okay, let me go back to sleep. Let me go get a cup of water and go back to sleep. That's Microsoft. And a lot of people don't understand this. And I'm going to say it right now on DIRREC Gaming. Microsoft gives more money away than Sony makes in a year. They give more money away. They have to. Microsoft has to give. They give to these technology. They give to researchers. They give to, they give to these hospitals. Why do you think Microsoft does a little thing for the cancer patient children? The children, cancer patient, charities, and they do all of that because all that's tax write-offs. It's just like I told y'all. Yo, Robotop, Microsoft is so bored, they make computers and throw them in the ocean.
Facts, bro.
They throw computers in the ocean to test the depths of the ocean.
That's what I'm saying. Bro, most look at that much money, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
This shit's crazy, man. Shout out to my man Realist that's in here right now. Yo,
the real one. What's up, real?
What it do?
What it do, baby? They throw more money away, Rez. You know what? Me and Realist will say, Microsoft is Scrooge at the end of the movie, right? But before the end of the movie, what was Scrooge doing in the wintertime, Rez? I mean, Realist, he was burning his money instead of giving it to the poor.
Yeah, he was.
Scrooge burned more money than he gave away. Come on, y'all. I mean, y'all are really trying to bet against the Leviathan, and that's absurd to me. That's one thing I never understood. Now listen, I've understood fanship. That don't bother me. Like the realist one said, I'm a console war by heart. Rez, we a console war by heart, 30 below. And everybody on Mighty Chat Pack. We're console warriors by heart because that's the era we grew up in. But just because we're console warriors, it doesn't blind us to the realization of what's going on. We can still come out here and tell you what's going to happen or how we perceive it and how we understand it and how the direction is going.
We see the future, not blind. We see where it's going. We see the future.
Yeah, we see the future. It's just what it is.
Yep.
You know, yeah, at first, Did it rub us wrong? Of course. It rubbed everybody wrong that was an Xbox fan. Everybody wanted to see if Xbox, because we was already there with the 360. We know Microsoft can compete that way. We know that. That's not a mystery. But when the money's not looking right, and you start to get the news that the money's not looking right, I'm talking about industry-wise. You don't look at PlayStation to carry the load. You don't look at Nintendo to carry the load. That's absurd. Who in their right mind think that Sony's about to put the whole gaming industry on their backs? Who? That's idiot thinking.
Well, you said in their right mind. They thought Sony did though, but they ain't in their right mind.
Right.
You know, they think
they're in their delusional fantasy pony land is what that's where they are.
But they're getting a sad realization now. This is why they're quiet, because they're starting to see that, man, damn, nothing is going our way. Nothing. They did all this talking for years. And they had to, even like I told you, what's really going to hurt is when the gaming media abandons them. Because what did I used to say, realist? The media is going to go where what? The success goes. The media is going to go where the success goes. And just like the NBA, right? The trade rumors. I argued up and down with my brother in Austin that Giannis wasn't going nowhere. You just need to get out. I said, he's not going anywhere, bro. Because the media is going to go with where they know you care the most about, and everybody's eyes was on Giannis. While everybody was making the moves, this man came out early this year and told you, I'm going to stay put. He knew he was the reason for them losing. I'm hurt. My calf keeps going out. I'm hurt. I'm not giving my chance. I'm not giving my team the right chance to win. That's on me as a leader. Because leaders are going to do like James Harden. I'm out of here, bro. You ain't going to give me the money. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Ja told you, hey, man, what I got tatted on my back? I got that logo. I got that Memphis logo tatted on my back. I told y'all where I want to be. He ain't traded. But the hype is Giannis. So ESPN's going to eat that, right? ESPN every day is going to bring some news up about Giannis because they know you're going to tune into it. So why do you think the media, the gaming media, does the same thing to y'all? Am I mad at the gaming media? No, it's a business. I just understand why I don't get caught up in it. I'll read their headline and I keep on scrolling. I don't get into it. I don't go in there looking at stuff. I look at other things. I like to look at other things because I know if I'm looking at the gaming media, I'm getting preschool stuff. I'm just getting preschool stuff. You know, they're so bad right now that they're asking y'all, how do y'all feel about a video game? Really? That's your article? Or what do you feel about Horizon Hunter Gathering? What? No. What do you mean? What do we feel about it? We ain't even played the game.
They should know how they felt about it while they were developing it.
Fact.
They should know how we would feel about it. You know what I mean? I keep saying it's like these trash rappers coming out with these albums and like they got a whole A&R team and producers and nobody told them it was whack. Is it that somebody that's in power is behind it, but they need somebody to tell them it's buns and nobody's gonna rock with it. Like they completely changed what the fans believed the game was to try to sell that IP. But nah, they should know. My bad, bro. They should know that nobody is for that game.
I agree. Because if you coming in developing a game and you don't know, that's not good, man. It's just not good if you don't.
I don't know why they keep trying to shove Horizon down their throats. Like the games didn't even sell that well.
Yeah,
because it's a good story, and the story would be better suited to have just been a sci-fi movie right off the muscle. That's what they should have led with, and then maybe bring the game out. But since they brought the game out first, you remember they got it's either a movie or a TV show in development about the game. So they got a whole plan for the IP, and they need to start building their own IP. Because as much as PlayStation fans love PlayStation, they cannot tell you who the mascot of PlayStation is, right? They can say it's Spider-Man, but they don't own Spider-Man. PlayStation needs something that's theirs that they could get behind, and that's what Concord was supposed to be when they were trying to when it was sold to them as the next Star Wars. Then you have Destiny that Pete Parsons sold to Sony, that they have transmedia plan for it. Like Sony, I applaud them for trying. I applaud them for getting behind what's theirs. Like Nintendo has mastered this from the beginning. Xbox has mastered this from the beginning with Halo. You got Gears. Now they got TV shows that are coming out. Now they got Bethesda in tow to bring out TV shows that people love and get behind. Fallout 4 is back at the top of top played lists because of it. So PlayStation is seeing this, and they see that right now they don't really have anything that everybody is behind. The Last of Us did fine as far as I'm concerned. I mean, like, it did well on HBO from what I can see. But that's the end of it. They don't even have a Last of Us 3 planned. You know what I mean? So this is what Sony's trying to do. Sony had this, they had Lego to get the kids.
They're banking on Horizon.
And none of the kids wanted to play it. They couldn't sell it on Switch. They couldn't sell it on PC. They can't sell it anywhere. So now they're going to try it on cell phones. You notice it's not going to be on PlayStation. They're trying their best to get that IP because they got.
We got to go there. We got to go there, y'all. We're going to take it there because both of these guys are right. But like I said, realists, they don't like to give the flowers out. We got to take it. On DI-RRec, take our flowers. We don't. So hey, yo, my panel. Even if we gotta go to graveyards and get our flowers, we'll go to that. We'll go to.
Guys, PlayStation is dead. PlayStation is dead.
Gone.
Here's why.
Look.
Here's why.
Yeah, let Spartan.
Every single one of these games that they're being released cross-platform now by Sony, you could totally see and tell that these Sony fanboys take pictures of throwing those games out in the garbage. So that means that console is just no longer being in use. Quite a few pictures due to Final Fantasy Rebirth dropping on Xbox. I've seen these little sour-ass Sony fanboys just taking pictures, sawing their PlayStations, throwing their games out in the garbage. They've never played the game in the beginning. What I do for work as in terms of IT, we double-check, and I'm a nosy person. I double-checked 70% of traffic in gaming on the Sony side is still on PlayStation 4. Nice. Only 30% of the users, maybe if that, use a PlayStation 5 and 5 Pro. And don't forget, PlayStation 3 is still there. They still play the games like the Xbox 360. So they're not advancing. The biggest mistake that they've done, talking about we're gonna stretch and carry on PlayStation 4 until it dusts. That's where they shot themselves in the legs, man. Soon as Xbox brought out Series X and S, they axed Xbox One. No more.
You're right, Spartan, because there's a lot to talk about.
We're moving forward.
That's it. There's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to talk about, y'all. So this thing about, you're correct. This thing about the what Resident and the realist was talking about has to do with what I'm saying back then. Generation talks of this generation, right? As we kept moving, and we all threw down our way of thinking about things, and for the most part, we were all right in our own way of thinking. When we were wrong, some of us might be wrong, but as DI-RRec Gaming family, if one of us was right, then it covers all the wrongs. And I take pride in the fact that all of us have never been wrong about anything. There's always somebody on this show that hits the target, right? And when it comes to this, that there's going to be a problem, not only with Sony, but with Nintendo. Well, what's that legal? Prices, and new technology. We already knew Nintendo was going to be out of the game on that, right? And what was the first excuse I heard? What was the first damn excuse I heard when I boldly took a step out and said it? Oh, but legal, it's going to sell anyway because it's Nintendo. Raz, use my Nintendo because games trailers are here. You're the Nintendo guy. You're the ex-Nintendo guy. Am I lying? Was that number supposed to be?
As we know, there's a lot of numbers that came out this week, not just from Take-Two, not just from Sony, but from, lo and behold, Nintendo.
We're gonna
and yeah, we are.
We're gonna get
And
to that.
they admitted that their console is not selling well outside of Japan.
Facts.
Selling less than they expected.
Facts. Now, when I went to this up early last year, and I told him, look, man, I got it going to the holidays, and that's it, bro. You know why? Because me and Realers already said that 450, that was it. That $500, that was it. They stepped into the big boys boxing ring with no gloves on. That's what they did. They didn't even take their hands up. So they weren't even being serious, man. It's over here. Just wanted to show y'all something, and they got no games to flex on it. It is told y'all to not even talk to me about no damn Switch. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because it ain't even a real factor in this generation. I don't even want to talk about it. Then they came in with the show and they started showing you the peripherals, and you couldn't help but to laugh. You couldn't help but to laugh at all of this stuff. So all the excuses in the world, where is it now? Now it's hurting. It's hurting in the world. Now we knew in Japan it would be king, but we're talking about markets, people. Markets. Each market makes different money. So Nintendo makes money outside of its country. We know because Japan is not as big as these countries are. It's an island. So yeah, it's going to stand tall in its own turf, but we're talking about an island. Just like we mentioned with Robotimes from the UK, right? The UK is a big island, but UK is small. UK is smaller when you think about the European Eurasia. When you look at Eurasia from what is it, from Spain all the way to Africa, there's no comparison. That's all one land. That's China. That's India. That's Russia, Africa. All of that one land. There's no comparing the UK to that. So that's like trying to put it's the world. There's no Japan's going to make most of its money outside of its turf. And I said this. I said, look, Sony's problem is going to be after the ABK deals. When I said this, now there's a problem because if you took, because right, we found out the secret to Sony's money processing machine. It was called Call of Duty.
Besides for months,
we found the monster. We found the monster that was feeding the machine.
Soon as that revenue made, right? The first bite went right down.
Exactly. We found the monster that was feeding the machine. Call of Duty. Microsoft took the monster away. My question was, who's going to feed Sony now? Who's going to feed that PlayStation? And I said this, did I not say this, panel? I figured it out. Everybody that's going to go across the next gen, every other company, right? That's not worried about how they're going to get the next gen. And it's because they have a live service game that's successful. Did I not say this, everybody? I said Nintendo has Animal Kingdom and Pokemon. That set them. They make enough money with get them to cross over the bridge. Here, I said Microsoft saw it a long time ago. They made sure they got Minecraft. They made sure they expanded Forza Horizon. Now they're making sure they expand Halo. They got Call of Duty. They got
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. There you go. They expanded Sea of Thieves. See, they were getting prepared for this because I'm gonna talk a little computer knowledge with my
Xbox saw it coming.
Right. I'm gonna talk a little Xbox Ebonics metaphoric language to my boy Realist real quick. What Microsoft and Nintendo basically did with their games, right? So the whole thing about the DiRRec and all of that stuff is to do what, Realist? Take the load off the hardware. So it's going to do the work independently so that it maximizes the value of your console and performance. So what Microsoft and Nintendo did with those two franchises, they said, well, look, instead of us sweating on how we're going to get money, let's just go and buy these games that have money, and then we let that money generate, and we just separate funds to all the studios that are making new games. And then this major money that we have, we'll put that to the AAA games, right? Look what Epic did. They hit the jackpot with Fortnite. And Epic sits up here laughing, and when they expanded it to everybody, they're winning. Because Fortnite alone is going to fund everything Epic does moving forward. Alone. alone. It makes that much money. So now you're starting to see. Now it has come out that now Sony has to put their games on multiple platforms when we were already told that. How do we this goes out to I want to make sure I read it real good. What's his name? Cygnus. What's up, Cygnus? He says, how you guys feel about the recent Xbox financial having triple negatives? Nothing more than I do about PlayStations. I talked about this on the last show, Cygnus. You can go and watch, but I'll summarize it for you. Basically, when companies have negatives in different divisions, what they do is they offset in the other divisions that make the most money, and they basically put where the other ones are making negatives, they supply and they offset. So nothing. I don't, right, that's done with. I know you want to find some kind of, comfort and to know, but let me tell you something. Xbox is fine, bro. It's at the end of its life console. Nobody believes that Microsoft's Xbox is supposed to be making all this money, just like Sony PlayStation 5 isn't. And the Switch isn't. It's all over with. We're moving on. So my question to you is, how do you feel about the PlayStation 6 not coming out no time soon? You're a PlayStation fan. That's what you should be saying. We're good over on Xbox. We got any Xbox controller that we're going to talk about. Oh, we're cooking today, y'all. Don't just sit back and grab your popcorn. We got all these AAA games.
We got confirmation Magnus is coming next year.
So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. So since you brought that up, y'all, what do y'all think about this Magnus confirmation, man? Anybody?
Just to clarify the triple negatives for these individuals that are so concerned about numbers.
It's not individuals, it's just one.
Yeah, it's just this is what happens when you are ready to release new hardware, new games and everything. What you have currently is going to take a hit. Nobody's going to sit there and pay any more until something new comes out. So get that through your heads. Next, Xbox has purchased ABK, Bethesda. How many more studios? We are the official game publisher for all consoles across all platforms. And our cloud system,
#1 publisher.
There you go. So people sitting there talking about Xbox is that, remember, we are giving you are buying our games. That's all I
but about the Magnus though, it's like we've been talking about the Magnus since they first leased, from how much we thought it was going to cost to everything. Look, you, Legal, myself, we were like, man, we're ready. We're ready. I'm sure Residents are ready. I'm sure Spartan's ready. And I can't read the other name. But
Robo.
Robo?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say Robo. Look, I'm sure you're ready too, Robo. I'm sure everybody in the chat that's an Xbox fan is ready, because we are the underground, we're hardcore, we don't have, a million subscribers with 15,000 in the live chat. Look, we the underground, we the hardcore Xbox fans, we're ready.
Bro, day one.
My thing is how are they gonna do it? I can see them taking baby steps toward it. When I use my my handheld PC, the strides that the Xbox full screen experience is making, or that they're making with it. So I can see how it all comes together, because now, your whole library is accessible, not whole, but I'd say about 80% through cloud if it doesn't have a PC port or license or whatever attached to it. Because like a Yakuza, I can't play my Xbox Yakuza games unless they're in Game Pass, but it shows that they're purchased. And that's a step, that's a change in itself. Even showing my Xbox library and the games that I purchased through the Xbox game store. But
so I said something to you in there. Open it up and read it when you're done. Breaking news, everybody. Breaking news, everybody.
In a group chat.
Yeah, and real quick, realers, I just want to finish off Cygnus. He had another question. Follow-up question. Do you guys think the TCL Sony Bravia deal mimics the next generation Xbox being OEM? I do. Mimic is the key word. So yes, I do. There's going to be a lot of mimicking going on between all these companies because I'm telling you right now, you can look it up. 2030, forget about everything being on one platform. Forget it.
Yeah,
I'm
split.
telling y'all, they're trying to they're preparing different fan bases differently. The Xbox fan base, we already get it. That's why you don't see us having a hard time. Nintendo fans, I don't even know what happened with Nintendo. Well, no, I'll tell you what's gonna happen with Nintendo. Nintendo's still gonna be Nintendo, but their games will be by way of emulation. That's how Nintendo's gonna do it. Sony, on the other hand, is gonna do just like Microsoft. So there you have it. PC gonna be PC. There it is.
I don't think it's anything like what Sony is doing because Sony is a failure as a hardware company right now, for the most part, because who they used to be isn't who they are today. The TVs, they weren't making the major components in the TVs. It was all, it was the LG TV as it was.
Yes.
So to what is it called? When they get like the Indians on the customer service to outsource, you know, and let
that's true, realist, yeah.
And let TCL handle what they couldn't handle because TCU's TV business is flourishing while theirs isn't. This isn't Xbox's hardware is flourishing, so they're gonna let other people. It is not that Xbox's hardware is not flourishing, so they're gonna get other people involved. See, a lot of people don't really understand the play. This is not about Xbox. This is about Windows. This is about Windows and people. It maintaining its position as the #1 gaming platform, as it always has been. I'm surprised that Xbox is taking so long to start to move into this direction. Because, like, even though Xbox, let's just say they're at 40, right? 40 million consoles sold. What the media needs you and others to believe is that that's a failure and that Xbox needs to go away, right? But what publishers are looking at is that's 40 million people that I have the opportunity to sell to. The ones that are still doing these exclusivities or skipping Xbox, it's budgetary, or if Sony is paying them off or Nintendo's paying them off. We know that Xbox isn't doing that anymore. So Xbox as hardware, just because they don't sell as much as a Switch or a PlayStation, it doesn't mark it as a failure. They're allowing Asus to become more relevant as a brand because right now people are buying the memory card. I mean the GPUs, the motherboards, but then like that, then it goes into a box, into obscurity. So if people can start branding their own Xbox consoles with ROG attached to it, because this is where you have the PlayStation fans confused. Oh, it's not an Xbox, it's an ROG, right? But there's an Xbox button. It has the primary interface is the Xbox full screen experience now. That is an Xbox branded hardware, but now you get to understand ROG, what they stand for. You go buy their cases that say ROG. It allows others to spread the good news of Xbox versus Xbox being the only one doing it. PlayStation has been doing great, right? That's why they have their console. They want to hold on to it as long as they can. Nintendo has been doing great, right? And they also don't play in the same lane as PlayStation and Xbox. But what happens with Nintendo is that eventually these guys are gonna put Nintendo into the PC lane. They're gonna start emulating.
I like that future generation.
And then Nintendo's gonna have to start suing people all over again. So eventually, this is why Phil Spencer says that in 10 years, exclusives are not gonna play as big a part because Legal, you said it earlier. You're limiting your audience. Even though Nintendo sells the best when it comes to exclusive first-party games, you cannot deny that if they put their games everywhere, they will sell more. So if they're selling 50 million units or 70 million Mario Karts, how many would they sell if they just go ahead and put it on PC, PlayStation, Xbox? I don't think that's happening anytime soon, but eventually they're going to have to because they got to grow.
Take the article that I sent you, man, and read that off. Breaking news, everybody.
You read it. I'm driving.
Oh, my bad.
You know what would be a smart move for Nintendo?
What?
If I was Nintendo and I know I'm making so much money and I'm top charting everybody, I'd be putting this on the table for all other manufacturers, Microsoft, Sony. Like, hey, here's my game plan. In order for us to release like games on Xbox, Sony, whatever, this is what I would do. Be like, hey guys, we want to release our games on your platform. However, the only way for them to be able to play these games once they buy it, it has to get authenticated with a genuine Nintendo controller. So you must purchase a Nintendo controller.
You know, there's gonna be you're right. There's incentives, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's
Always
something, a
incentives,
contingency
right?
that's gonna be in place. I would be like, yo, Microsoft, Phil, you guys could we're gonna release our games on your console. However, in order for our games to be played on your console, you're gonna have to ensure every game identifies a Nintendo controller, and that's it. You're not allowed to use any other controllers
I know what
but
you mean.
Nintendo to play Nintendo games.
Right, I know what you mean. And even if you was wrong about that, you're still right about some kind of way of having an incentive. And that's
I would do that. I'd be like, yo, you guys want to be cross-platform? Sure, your games you play with your controller, but our games, Nintendo, they have to play with our controller because that's how it's made and that's how it's played.
I don't think Nintendo's not close enough yet, right?
Yeah, they don't.
Like Nintendo, as long as they can push 50, 20, 30 million units of every game they put out, they're not, because once they decide to take the route the PlayStation, Xbox are taking, they're dead. Right? Their whole console thing, like, it's probably going to be cool in Japan, but everywhere else, people would rather play on better hardware. So their games are what ties you to playing to their trash hardware. You know what I mean? Like, until they can't sell as many games, I don't see them moving in that direction. But see, the thing with PlayStation and Xbox is their games are 60, 80, 100, 200, 300 million dollars. They need that money back. So they need to put those games in as many places as they can. And plus, PlayStation and Xbox, their platform is dominated by third party. Nintendo's not there yet. Nintendo's trying to fend off third party. They always have, right? But the minute that you get these live service games playing on a Switch and they start to get their tentacles and pulling people away from Nintendo games, then you'll see Nintendo have to make the same moves. Like Roblox and Fortnite. Like, yeah, Fortnite's still the #1 played game, but Nintendo is still able to sell 20 million units of trash Pokemon games. Xbox, PlayStation are not doing that. PlayStation fans would like you to believe they are because they'll hype up, they sold 20 million copies, but how many did they sell at $70 and $60? How many of them weren't thrown in the box as a bundle?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where they are.
Yeah, all that comes down to it. Yeah.
Nintendo will eventually be there too, though.
Yep. Hey, Rez, you got this. You got this. Read it off, man. Breaking news.
You're gonna have to, for some reason, when I switch over to, it cuts out my audio. Yeah, I can't read it.
I didn't want to read everything.
Yeah,
today, but let's do it. Okay, so breaking news. Report: Microsoft is in an early stages of expanding Xbox Game Pass. Now, before this, I gotta give a shout out to Di-RRec Gaming once again, to all of y'all, the mighty chat pack, because we've been saying this for a while. Game Pass didn't intrigue me in the beginning. We knew this, right? But the deal was too great. Let me get it anyway. Most of the games we already had, and for the most, just building off the first, right? And then better and better and better. Nobody's denying that it's gotten better and better and better. But there's some because with Game Pass, when this starts to happen, you know that Game Pass is fixing to a whole nother level. And what's that? The new legal? That's third-party publishers. When these major third-party publishers start putting their games on Game Pass, you can look out. And what I'm about to read, there's a lot are going to possibly come back that made any service of Xbox great. But I want to read it because I'm just thinking. I have not read this yet. This is breaking news. Microsoft is in the early stages of expanding Xbox Game Pass following a major overhaul last year. Now, this is coming from Pure Xbox right now. Microsoft only overhauled Xbox Game Pass last year with new tiers, prices, perks, and more. What did we say on DIRREC Gaming? We do not believe that it's going to go up no time soon anymore for a while. But it sounds as though the company isn't quite done messing around with its gaming subscription service just yet. In a big report from Tom Warren at The Verge, the tech journalist touched on various topics related to what Xbox has planned for 2026 and beyond. As part of the reporting, Warren dropped some information about the future of Xbox Game Pass and how Microsoft is in the early stages of exploring ways to expand its Game Pass subscription line. Not prices, lineup. So I have to give my flowers back out to DIRREC Gaming for saying it wouldn't go up. We're right so far. So far, so good. I got to give a shout out to Future Generation for his comment. Microsoft is omnipresent. Exactly. The arms of the octopus Leviathan is everywhere. The partnerships of Microsoft is explosive. These companies are going to partner with Microsoft because, like I told y'all before, the business of Microsoft is to make other businesses better. We'll throw in a full quote on this down below. While the free Xbox Cloud Gaming won't be a new Game Pass tier, sources tell me Microsoft is in the early stages of exploring ways to expand its Game Pass subscription lineup after a Game Pass Ultimate price hike in October. I understand that Microsoft is looking at ways to bundle third-party services with Game Pass subscriptions and potentially even merge Xbox Game Pass Premium and PC Game Pass together, which would be awesome. We know why that. Well, that's a no-duh moment because the next Xbox is going to be a hybrid PC console. So it only makes sense for them to finally combine Game Pass PC and Game Pass Xbox because, like I told y'all before, they were never the same. So when you had those haters out there that were talking about, oh, well, I got a PC. So what? That don't mean you got the same games on your Game Pass as I did. See, so you can't listen to just haters. Haters are just saying anything. Takima said Final Fantasy 14 online subscription is Game Pass Ultimate. Facts. It says, I wouldn't even expect to see another major change to Xbox Game Pass this year, though. It is important to note that Warren sources say that it's just in the early stages at the moment, with the reporter going on to say wouldn't expect to see any immediate changes this year, but still it's interesting to hear that Microsoft could be looking to add even more third-party perks to the service in the future, such as EA Play, Fortnite Crew, Ubisoft, and Ubisoft Plus Classics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We know that's coming. We already know that's coming. All right? We're also curious to see how something like PC Game Pass / Game Pass Premium merge would work. The former tier has day one games right now, which the latter doesn't. Exactly. And with the advent of Xbox Raw Ally X, it's clear the PC side of things will become even more prominent going forward. Of course, in any case, it looks like another major changes to Xbox Game Pass will come in 2027, of course, as the earliest going off this report. Of course. And as usual, do take this information with a pinch of salt. It isn't confirmed by any means right now. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. We're students of the game. You can see it clearly that makes perfect sense. And I'm gonna go off the record to say this right now. Whatever Microsoft does with the services, right? There isn't anything greater than family services. So if they actually bring that back, then you know Microsoft is making tons of money. Tons of money. Because right now what they're doing with Game Pass, where people like me and Really's got sons, we can share one with our son, and he gets even our Game Pass and everything else for free too. We don't have to pay for nothing twice. That in itself is remarkable. RoboTod, you got anything to say about this article, man? Because you did refer to the family plan, and that is significant. That was one hell of a plan, man.
Yeah, that family would be great. Cause like I've got 5 kids in my house. You know what I mean? Like 5 Xboxes. So that family plan, I reckon it'd be really good.
Facts.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And other families as well out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got 5 Xboxes. That's super computing.
That's what I'm saying. That boy put some money out here.
Yeah, bro.
Don't
forget, bro. I've got all my kids in the house, bro. You know what I mean? 5
GPUs, the amount of RAM. If you put them together and daisy chain them, bro.
Bro, yeah, I've got the Series S. All my kids have, bro. I've got the X. The kids
You'd
got
be
the Series
solving
S.
the world's problems with them. The Xbox is
I'm
connected
telling you,
together.
man. Yo, I got some news. I
can't wait for
Reds.
Magnus, man.
This
Go
is
on,
something
Magnus.
Yeah, I
Reds.
can't wait, bro. Day one, Magnus, bro. Day one.
I got some news that Reds passed down to me, y'all. This has to do with Sony, but I'm going to, before I do that, I'm gonna push the brakes on that real quick and pull back a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Based on the financial reports from early 2026, the premise that Sony has lost profit specifically due to gaming this year is partially accurate in terms of hardware sales, but inaccurate regarding overall division profitability. So it goes back to what I was explaining to Cygnus. It's profitable because companies will offset. While PlayStation 5's hardware sales has slumped, strong software sales and network services have allowed the gaming division to remain profitable. Now, remember when Xbox hardware slumped and then the Game Pass would be up and the haters of Xbox were like, Game Pass, bro, that's good. If something's up, then something's up, right? So if the services and the rest of the gaming division remain profitable, that's good for Sony. So here's the breakdown, right? Before we get too carried away. The profit increase, despite or perhaps because of the console's age, Sony's gaming segment reported a 19% increase in operating profit, which is great. The hardware slump. PlayStation 5 sales volume fell 16% in the third quarter of 2025 fiscal year, which is bad. Key driver. And the profit increase was driven by strong sales of first-party software such as Ghost of Yotei and the network services of PlayStation Plus. All right. So there's become a record engagement here. The PlayStation Network reported a new all-time high of 132 million monthly active subscribers, which pales in comparison of Microsoft with 500 million. See, see, when it comes to services, like what me and Realist will talk about. Realist brought up, nobody wants to talk about how Xbox is king of content and service. Nobody does. We don't talk about it because it doesn't play into the victory lap for PlayStation. And since the gaming media doesn't do that, you understand why the gaming media is biased. But watch this, Realist. Watch how I catch them. Which one is actually making money for the console companies? Is it the hardware or is it the services? I just read to everybody that the gaming service of PlayStation Plus, is carrying the weight because that's where the money's being made. Now, when you talk about the specific financial hits, when you think about the impact of what's happening to PlayStation right now, they took a hit, took a big hit. The Bungie impairment on November of 2025, which the gaming media doesn't want to talk about, right? They're staying away from this. It took 31.5 billion approximately. That's in yen. So that's in yen. So yen is weaker, right? It's weaker, so it's going to look big. So it's approximately 204 million of impaired loss against a portion of assets at Bungie's, the creator of Destiny 2, for those that don't know, which was a significant drag on the gaming unit's operational income. It hit them hard. Hardware costs. While early in the console's life cycle, 2021, reports indicate the PlayStation was sold at a loss. They don't want you to know this stuff. You have to only get this when the real talks come out. So for 4 years, PlayStation 5 ain't been making no money for PlayStation, bro, despite what you heard. It's been sold at a loss since 2021 to component costs. We know this because how many revisions have they had to do on this damn thing? Tons. Component costs, recent reports emphasize that the primary challenge is failing demand for the aging console rather than manufacturing losses. So as time goes, more and more people are not even desiring a PlayStation 5. Problem. It's a problem. So let's keep it moving. So the overall company context, despite the slump of the PlayStation 5 hardware sales, Sony hiked its full year profit forecast. Here we go, y'all. In February 2026 to 1.13 trillion yen, So if you're a mathematical genius between dollar scales, you go figure it out. But that means only a couple $100 million in United States money. So largely due to a weaker yen and strong performance in its music and sensor division. So what's offset? There you go. So let me tell y'all something, and I know this is going to hurt a lot of PlayStation fans, but we're here to report the truth. See, on DIRREC Gaming, I'm just here to tell y'all the truth. Now, we're not here to tell you that Sony's falling off, that when we say we can't stand PlayStation, we don't mean it. We're all truthful here. So basically what's happening right now with the PlayStation 5, it's failing, all right? It's not, the good aspect of PlayStation 5 is its service division. The perception is falling apart. That's bad, because I told you, when the perception falls apart with PlayStation, that's when it's over for PlayStation. That's when PlayStation is going to be broken up and become a flea market. And it's going to break up and become a flea market. That's the truth. I just told you what the future is going to be. So don't, it's okay to have your favorite YouTuber that lies to you. It's okay to have your favorite social media guy that lies to you. But legal ain't going to lie to you. I'm telling you right now, find a place in your heart where you enjoy games, where you just enjoy gaming. Because right now, at this very moment in time, nobody cares about these PlayStation games. Nobody. That's why I started telling y'all the world don't play them. Now I'm reading y'all the report. Robotime, I'm reading them the report, whether they listen to me or not. This thing is being offset by stronger performance in its music and sensor divisions. This is a big first time, y'all, because prior to, PlayStation was what Sony hung its hat on. So the summary, the gaming division did not lose money, but it faces significant one-time impairment charge from its Bungie acquisition and declining console sales, while offsetting these with strong digital software and service revenue. So for all of those barking at Xbox for the same problem, right? And Microsoft is having an offset for Xbox, the same thing is happening for PlayStation, y'all. The exact same thing. So as the future goes, find a spot in your heart to understand that PlayStation 6 is going to be more of a cross-gen console, because the problem that Sony's having right now with their fans is they're not able to get them to migrate. Now that I got here, from what Spartan 117 was saying, it took me a while to get here because I knew this was going to be a lot, but we're not in no rush. So to go back to what Spartan 117 was saying, Microsoft prepared itself for this by eliminating old technology. Watch this, y'all. How did they eliminate old technology? By way of the cloud. Realist, remember you used to tell me, Legal, you crazy about that cloud, man. You a laugh, but you said, but I gotta respect you because you gonna die on that sword. I said, I am. I'm gonna die on this sword, Realist, because I know that is a key component into checkmate in the future. Because with the cloud, they destroyed old hardware, right? So, with PlayStation, I'm going to connect to those that are confused still. PlayStation does not have a superior cloud like Microsoft does or Xbox does. How do we know this? You see it in the handhelds. You see it clearly with the Portal and with the Xbox ROG Ally X. You see it, right? Because nobody can sit here and tell me that my ROG isn't ran by Microsoft when it's Windows 11 operated. So the cloud is in this handheld where I can literally pick anywhere. Rimmers is at work. He be traveling. He gets to work. He pulls out his ROG. He connects to the hotspot. He's playing it. He's playing it. It's good to go. And it's not just on selective games. It's every game that's powered by the cloud. Every game that's a part of that service. And soon, Microsoft is working on our full library. It will be where we won't even have that limited us soon. Soon it'll be the entire library in your account you'll be able to play by way of cloud. We know that's what's going to happen. And by doing that, Microsoft eliminates old hardware. Like Spark 1117, Microsoft big tech movement is going to push its generation forward. And the reason why you see haters right now, while they're hurting right now, is because they see that Xbox fans have no problem moving forward. How do they know this? They just found out that news that when Resident Gamer Zero just presented it to them, that 138 million consoles of Gen 9 has destroyed their souls, because now they know that the Xbox Series X is on poise of doing the exact same thing the Xbox One did. So Microsoft offsets with two different generations. Even if it did hit 2-3 million off, they did. You couldn't afford is Xbox only selling 30 million. Now you lost 20 million. That's bad. But hey, just to offset or get over or tie, that means you kept your audience and you can build. Why do you think Microsoft is still building? Because they see that data. They know they're not losing. This is why when they push that up, when they push that price up, we on Di-RRec Gaming said, well, that means they're going to start adding to the service. Now we got the report that they're about to start expanding to the service. This is not hard, y'all. It's not hard to see this stuff. Now they're going to implement the third party. Why? Because that's where the real power is at. When you got the third party, you get the industry. So if you get the industry backing you up, you're going to flourish. So the next Xbox that comes out, that's going to be presenting the AI and all of that, that's good stuff. I don't care what nobody says. The reason why AI is pivotal for the next generation is because it's going to speed up development time. Who wants to be waiting around 7 years for video games? Yo, that's old thinking. I don't care what nobody says. That's crazy thinking that you as a gamer would want to wait around for 7 years. Look at something like Grand Theft Auto 6 or Grand Theft Auto 5. My daughter was 11 years old. She's 21, and the next one's coming out. It's insane. You know what I'm saying? With this AI, all the stories, all the character models, all that stuff can speed it up. And then you're 3 to 4 years, game drops if you wanted to. You speed it up. And the industry is flourishing through services. It's not flourishing through direct costs. They're flourishing through services because they know, hey, look, we know these games are coming out fast paced. We know that y'all probably can't keep up with them. So we're going to bundle by way of service. Nobody's going to sit here today on Di-RRec Gaming and think that services is such a bad thing because we just read the report for Sony, right? And if the services for Sony is what's holding up the gaming spot section of Sony, then services is not a bad thing to grow on, right, everybody? Everybody can nod their head. Yeah, because we over here, we just use Sony's success so that everybody's in agreement because we already know how y'all feel when Xbox is succeeding. It rubs you the wrong way. So over here, we'll just say, yeah, see, look, it's working for Sony, right? Yeah, okay. So we don't lose nobody, right? So Microsoft never had to use the Xbox console for ransom. Now y'all get it? This is why Microsoft didn't have to use the hardware for ransom. PlayStation had to hold their console for ransom. They don't have a superior product. Nintendo for ransom. They don't have a superior product. But Microsoft said, hey, we know that new technology costs people. We know when new technology comes out, it's going to cost. So we're going to keep our customers happy by implementing the cloud so that even though they may be working on older technology, through the cloud, they will still be able to get a 1440p performance off their screen. Because why? What is it? It's what do they call that? I don't know the technical name for it, but it's kind of like GeForce Now does. GeForce Now can take my LG TV, and when I pull it through the LG TV, it converts everything through its own cloud specifications. Goes back to where we talked about how the cloud back in the day could use its own it can have its own GPUs and CPUs. When nobody believed it, that's why I love NVIDIA. When Xbox, the true Xbox fans were trying to explain this to people, they didn't want to believe them. So NVIDIA made the world believe. There it is. So see, that's the thing about Xbox fans. Nobody's gonna take Xbox fan for face value because they hate Xbox too much. So somebody else has to do it. So shout out to NVIDIA for showing everybody just how cloud works. So through cloud, it has its own frames per second, it has its own GPU power, it has all of that. Well, the Azure cloud is the same way. You can build games off of it. It has its own virtual GPUs and CPU technology. Well, CPU technology is the reason why you see it, but it's got its own GPUs and performances to be utilized through its own cloud network. Nobody's going to debate that anymore. See, thanks to NVIDIA. So now here we are, right? Microsoft isn't forcing you to buy hardware. They don't have to. That's why they don't have to. They know already by the data that people like us on this platform, Body Chat Pad, everybody else that's an Xbox craze fan is going to buy that console. The expansion of the console is not their concern anymore. That's plateaued. This generation just proved it. And shout out to the whole entire Xbox fans and around the world. You proved that you didn't go anywhere. You proved that you still stood tall on your platform. That's what you just proved. And now Microsoft can build off of us. See? What is Sony doing? They're shaking in their knees. We don't get a message on our Xbox telling us, please upgrade to the next console. There's nothing like that that exists. There's no reports like that nowhere. Nowhere.
That's embarrassing, man. If I flipped on my PlayStation, it's like, hey man, I'm pooping dust. My liquids.
You know what they just did?
Pooping dust.
You know what they did, Spark 117? They gave him a Don Matrick moment by way of message. You see what I'm saying? What goes around comes around, everybody. Now Sony is trying to get these old PlayStation 4 fans to switch over, but here's the problem. You sold them a lie and you expect them to now buy the lie. When you came into this thing, you told them you believed in generations, right? But the minute they found out you didn't believe in generations, you did that, Sony. You did that. You told Jim Ryan to do that because you saw by the numbers they wasn't jumping ship.
I'll be honest, start cutting you out. Who's gonna buy like a cockroach, like a tractor? You get what I mean? Like that thing.
You trying to be funny?
Cockroach.
I turn on my console.
It is, bro.
Cockroach being spat out by the fans' exhaust.
But look. I mean,
they want to play Spider-Man, and then they see a cockroach splash.
Cockroach, you stupid boy. But look, Spark 117. They packaged the thing in ad cart. They packaged the damn thing with ad carts for support. Come on. They don't even take the packaging seriously.
Yeah, they just want to, just like an iPhone. Here's a pretty exterior with pictures, and then the interior. Oh, here's your console and it's eggshell. Yet again. Yeah,
it's the thing about it is, man, the realization, like Resident was saying in the beginning, I believe
spending 1,000 new legal. Imagine you come to me and you're spending over $500. I better give you a product that comes with supreme packaging. I'm not gonna sit there and sell you out. We'll sit there and buy a $5,000 machine and then give you a 10-cent looking ugly. Yeah. You have to present it. They didn't do a good job presenting the PlayStation. They failed on the hardware, on the presentation, on the ergonomics, on the sticks, on its looks, on its performance. They're trying to be like remember how iPhone used to have iPhone 6, iPhone 6S, iPhone 7, iPhone 7S just for speed, and the S. That's what they're trying to do with the PlayStation 6, PlayStation 6 Pro. That doesn't work out no more. Nobody's gonna sit there and shell what, another 2Gs after 2 years of you promising the world, especially your fan base, that this console is going to be breaking barriers unknown to mankind in an unknown universe, parallel universe. Then 2 years later, they don't spit out a console. Oh, so yeah, we're gonna give you something else that we missed out on the first thing that we lied to you about.
I totally agree. And before I go to the next topic, I want y'all to, we'll do this. I'll talk about this, and then we're going to talk about this Magnus in the future, y'all. We're going to end it with that, because that's such great news. But Twitter X, Gangster Damas, sent a message talking about how this controller can reduce cloud latency, right? So I guess he has been reading or saw an article about some future tech, or that the new Xbox controller that's rumored to come out this year, possibly, right? Which I think it should, with this 25th anniversary year that we're going to have. So I was looking into this. From what they're saying, the next Xbox controller is going to be Wi-Fi connected. Now, here's where I was going to go with this. When I said we were going to put some respect on this company's name, one of these companies' names. So let's talk about it. So I read up on this report, looked up some information, read this out to everybody. See, that's why I wanted to pass some of this reading along, because I didn't want to make this a Sesame Street moment. But you know how we do on Di-RRec Gaming. We want to tell the truth. We want to spit these facts. So old gaming controllers from the 1980s to the 1990s to the early 2000s did not connect to Wi-Fi, right? I'm pretty sure everybody knows what the connections was, but we're going to read about it anyway. We're going to do it anyway for those that don't know. Okay. While wireless controllers did exist, they use different technology like infrared, which will be abbreviated IRs, which we know, or proprietary radio frequencies, which was RFs, signals, and not Wi-Fi. We all knew this, right? From past dealings with our consoles and stuff. So it says, here's the breakdown on how wireless controllers worked back in the day. The early through the 1990s, early wireless controllers of the NES satellite or various Atari 2600 joysticks used infrared technology. They required a direct line or sight to a receiver plugged into the console and often had poor range of responsiveness. Facts. During the late 1990s and early 2000s, the Nintendo GameCube, the Wavebird in them, they used the that was during the Wavebird era. So that was a different kind of technology that kept things connected. The transition between the mid-2000s was true Wi-Fi based or high bandwidth 2.4 gigahertz wireless started becoming popular with the 7th generation of consoles starting around the Xbox 360, which was to me one of the best, strongest improvements we ever had, because the 360 controller was just phenomenal, right? Just phenomenal. Those connections were phenomenal at that time. So when Wi-Fi arrived, the Wi-Fi standards were only ratified starting in 1997, and mass adoption didn't occur until around 2000, making it too new for classic retro gaming. So the summary of old wireless tech, which was infrared, 2.4 gigahertz radio frequency, and Bluetooth proprietary, was only arrived later with the Wii, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, right? We got that. So has there ever been controllers that connected directly to Wi-Fi? The answer is yes. With the most notable example was being a Stadia controller. It was launched in 2019. So for all us gaming heads out here, we're going to put some respect on Stadia. People understood that we already knew this. They already understood where the future was going. That's why they were trying to jump ship. They were trying to jump this Microsoft vision already, beat them to the punch, and then put a flag down. But Microsoft stopped that with Game Pass. We know this from the document leaks. So the recent leak that we just got a wave of, suggesting that the similar approach for the future for Xbox controllers. All right. So when you talk about is it true? It is true. The reason why it offsets, because when you're doing Bluetooth is a direct control, it's a direct connection between the controller and the device again. So when you're talking about initiative against Adamas, when you're talking about, is it true that, you know, how does it reduce cloud latency? Well, when it's on Wi-Fi, it offsets the load, right? So the device is not affected by the controller anymore, which allows smooth gaming to occur. Because when you have latency, as you know, it's going to drag. Or if some kind of communication is going between the console and device, those seconds or those tenths of a seconds, that matters in gaming. That's why a lot of monitors are built by milliseconds. Reaction times, response timing is in milliseconds. When you blink your eyes, you don't even know, you can't even see the difference in your vision because the blink happens so fast. Well, that's important in gaming because a second is long, right? When you consider it, how fast you need to get something off. So let's go to the NBA. And you're down in the fourth quarter, and you're down 2, and you need a 3-point. You need a 3-point shot. And there's 0.4 of a second on that clock. That gives you just enough time to take the shot. But if it's down below 0.4 of a second, it's impossible. A tip-in has to happen, which will eliminate you from even having a 3-point shot, right? So a 1 second on the shot clock gives an athlete plenty of time to form up, take his time, and hit his shot. You get what I'm saying? Because when you're looking at it like that, that's a lot of time on the clock. When you put 3 seconds, super lot of time on the clock. So when you're thinking about gaming and you want that pinpoint accuracy, you want that right on the spot moment feel, you're going to push that damn thing down to milliseconds. You want all latency taken out as possible. So when you touch that button and you push that trigger down, you want to see that response happen immediately. So yeah, what the beautiful thing about this is, and let me be clear, I like the Xbox Elite controller too. I did. But it wasn't something that I was crazy about as that thing kept going, because it really wasn't built for the buck. I'm just gonna be honest. I was very disappointed in how the Elite controller held up when it was supposed to be a muscle controller. I actually lost. I had a special edition Gears of War Elite controller that I lost to because of the triggers came loose. One of the right side of the trigger came loose, and it's disappointing. I was able to save my other one, but none of that should have never happened for a controller that cost back then $200. I mean, damn near. I mean, there's no excuse for it. And so when the 2.0 come out, it was a little bit better, but I mean, Microsoft has gotten away from its controllers being strong. The 360 controllers were damn near indestructible. I think they put a little animanium into those controllers. I remember throwing them, dropping them, whatever, man. I mean, the analog sticks and everything held good. Microsoft needs to get back to that. Shout outs to GameSir and their controllers right now with the haptics and all of that solved. No more drifting, no more nothing. I hope Microsoft takes a page out of their book, because right now, to me, they got the best controller out on the market right now. And they're actually upgrading to an Elite style controller. 8-bit. I don't know if GameSir, I'm sorry. 8-bit is. 8-bit is upgrading theirs to an Elite controller, and it looks excellent. I mean, this damn controller looks phenomenal. But now that I've heard Xbox coming out with this Wi-Fi controller, I don't think I'm going to get anything else but this Wi-Fi controller and move with the technology now. I'm going to literally move with the technology now. I'm not going to invest in anything that's not moving me forward. So I just wanted to ask the panel, what do y'all think about that, man? I wanted to elaborate on that, get his question answered before we get to this Magnus and end the show.
Well, when it comes to the controller, that might have been why I always thought that Stadia had the best streaming platform. It's like I invested in Stadia a little bit. You know, my problem with them is that they wanted you to buy games that you already bought just to be able to stream them. And Nvidia did the smart thing where they just charged you for the platform. See, Stadia didn't cost money to stream from, but you had to buy the games. The platform was just there if you wanted to use it. They had free games if you did their little service, but maybe the streaming platform wasn't just so much better than Game Pass. It's just that it had the right tool for the job. Because and if I'm not mistaken, I think Luna has the Wi-Fi controller too. And there another one is typically listed as better than xCloud, for lack of another term for it. But like that's going to be a big deal for those who do stream. That's going to be a big deal. But see, my thing is I don't stream at home. And so that's why it wasn't that big of a benefit for me, because I was looking to stream when I wasn't at home. So when I'm at home, I'm native. But in the case, like, let's just say that they aren't able to emulate some of your OG Xbox, uh, Xbox One games, and or they can't get publishers to agree to it, and you have to stream those games, you're gonna benefit from having that Wi-Fi connection on your controller, because I'm not that much of a cloud nerd to understand if it's just the platform or it's the hardware working in concert with the platform. But Microsoft's, their controllers have pretty much been the same for 2 generations, and they've been surveying. I don't know if you guys gotten them, but I got a Halo survey recently. Before that, I got a game about I got a survey about a game, a Japanese game, how I felt about Ghost of Yote, and I got a survey before that about what features of the DualSense do I like, and which ones would I like for Microsoft to invest in. If you read the patents from back in 2017, you already know that they have their own patent for locking triggers. Um, it's the haptics. The haptics are the only thing that Microsoft is missing when it comes to a new controller. So this next controller needs to have haptics, where your controller, it just feels like it can be vibrating in any spot. The rumble triggers are cool, but having those haptics and those motors being able to vibrate at different parts of the controller, that I like that. Locking triggers, I'm not so. I mean, it's cool when you like open a door or something like that, but I wouldn't want to play like shooters, because it can also affect how the triggers work in certain games. But I think it's cool. I mean, I think it's time that Microsoft does something a little bit more significant than add a share button too. So I'm excited to see what they come out with. The only thing about all these leaks is you got to wait for the formal announcements. But getting back to the Magnus, because I jumped off of that earlier, but man, I expect it to be something serious, man. Not like, because typically now this generation was the first time where we had the hardware kind of catch up with graphics cards, right? I think when these came out, the 20s were coming to an end, so it was kind of close to them, but not quite like on the 2080 level. And then the 30s came out. Now the 40s and 50s are out. So I'm expecting, kind of the same setup. Whatever comes out, if I think Nvidia, I mean, with these graphics cards, they're not really looking for like raw horsepower. It's more about like the AI tools, and I'm for it as long as they can get the tools to look more like native, because you still get like when you use like what is it, frame generation, you still get like ghosting, you still get stutters. Once they are able to master that, then maybe these things make more sense, because we see like PSS pisser, whatever, the pissers come and gone, and I think they're gonna go back to AMD. But this is something that we've been saying since before the probably legal, like when you read all those articles, like before these current gen consoles dropped. Xbox waited for the tech. The, I guess, pundits have been laughing about tools this and tools that, they've been laughing, but the PlayStation was not current gen, right? The PlayStation 5 wasn't. And the PlayStation 5 Pro isn't really either, until they start to add tools that can be used. Because you remember, like, the PlayStation 5 didn't have was it VRS? When the Xbox was always capable of it. The Xbox Series
Yeah,
X
man.
and S have machine learning on board that hasn't been utilized, direct storage capable, whereas the PlayStation was hyping up their super fast SSD the Xbox had other tools that and basically anything over one is fast as hell anyway.
Don't forget
but the
one of the most important things that you missed out, Realist. The HDMI output of the Xbox is more stronger than the PlayStation 5.
Well, that's the PlayStation 5, but see, like the PlayStation 5 Pro, I think remedies that.
Yeah, I think.
But
Yeah,
I'm talking about things that like the PlayStation 5 corrected, but the Xbox,
okay.
but the Xbox has always been able to do right out of the box from day one, 5-6 years ago. The
They
PlayStation
corrected it with
5
the
was
PS5 Pro.
yeah, but see, not really because Pisser is not on point, right? And so now they're looking to move to FSR4 just like Xbox
Yes,
is.
sir.
You know what I mean? But I mean, look, when I read it and then I started hearing everybody, okay, I didn't feel so crazy. Everybody's calling it a
Realist,
pisser. What?
is this the reason why Mark Cerny went on and they're like, hey, PlayStation 6 ain't gonna be as much as an upgrade as it's gonna be a better refresher because of that PSSR? They're underdeveloped.
Well, because the thing is like, and I rock with them on this because back in the day they used to have the best audio format, but nobody adopted it. They are pretty much dependent on everybody else for everything they do. They can make their own games, but their gamers are not looking for their games. They make hardware, but none of the components are theirs, right? Like there's nothing that they do that is theirs or proprietary. Everything is dependent upon somebody else bringing it to them. Even with the cloud, they got to go to their biggest competitor. You know what I mean? It's like, so they could not, and you can't leave the PlayStation 5 base model too far behind. That was the whole issue, and that's why Xbox didn't come out with a Manjet free refresh, because you're still going to use whatever these cores are called now, but back then they were called Jaguar, and so the new consoles still had Jaguar. You can't leave the last gen too far behind. So they came out with Pisser to try to make it to, because they knew that the day was coming when these things would start to be utilized and they would get exposed. But come to find out, the developers are still too slow to use a lot of these tools available to them. Like they get, like the Steam Deck is way underpowered and it gets to use these AI tools that consoles should have been able to be using. But no, the PlayStation 5 Pro was basically to clean up. You remember the Xbox, man, they had people dismantling it way before it came out, and let everybody know what was in it. It took like, I think like 2 weeks before the PlayStation 5 came out before they took it apart. And it was like as big as the dude who was disassembling it. It's so much about it. That's why I had, like, Legal brought up how many revisions it had. It had 7 just on the OG that I remember from like 2 years ago. That was the 7th revision. They have to be at least 9.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
And then some of it is from, using smaller, silicon or whatever inside with the nano, whatever they call it, with 4 nanometer, 6 nanometer.
Liquid metal.
Well, that's cool, but that's also like, that's PC stuff. And if you're going to start making things where people have to bust open and start to assemble, and, because that's what you got to do, because they didn't have a solution. People made fun of Xbox, but Xbox had an expansion solution day one. It took PlayStation over a year to figure out which SSD they can get to work with their console. And then because what's his name, the black company, the one is Western Digital, had the black SSD that was compatible. PlayStation made them take their advertisement down. Come to find out, once PlayStation was comfortable, it was always compatible. Western Digital knew that it would always work, but see, they wanted people to have 7 gig speeds, but 4 gig works just as fine. But if you're gonna have people starting to treat their consoles like PC, might as well be a PC. But Xbox came out with a console solution day one. All you had to do was just put it in, hot swappable SSD, put it in. Yeah, it costed more. It's proprietary, but that goes with the territory. And I guess PlayStation was right in that they just were undercooked, underdeveloped, and behind schedule with the way they brought it to market. But man, when the Magnus comes out, we don't really know. So I don't know but I expect it to be probably the biggest leap, but I think it's going to be the biggest leap, not in raw power, but more in its ability to utilize AI and the tools to make frame generation look better, to make 1080p look more like 4K without having as many issues as it has now. Because that's all the when you compare like the 5090s to the 4090s, or because I got, was it 3080, 4080, it was way different than the 4080 to the 5080. It's more about AI now, because
The
these
only thing
developers
is,
still aren't able to figure things out. So they got to start using AI as a crutch. Go ahead.
and for the next gen going, they got to look at price point too, right? User and console. I think Xbox is gonna knock it out at the park next generation. Realist. We have machine learning. They've already learned off that, and our ray tracing is gonna be even bigger. That's one hype I have. One thing I just want out of the Magnus is that Xbox logo from the original Xbox logo to be on it, and that's it. The rest I'm
You
cool
mean
with.
the big jewel?
Yeah, man, with the green background.
Yeah, because the coolest boot up was when there was a machine. It was like,
Yeah,
but anyway, so yeah, I'm
So
confident that they're gonna bring out good hardware. My thing is how much it's gonna cost, what's gonna be in it exactly,
the rumor is between
and
11 and 1400.
well,
that's
I said
enthusiasts.
back
Yeah,
back when y'all told me I was crazy, I said it was gonna be about 1200, and so now I don't look so crazy. But man, I mean, if the RAM situation doesn't change, yeah. But
It's going to
on top of
have
that,
an AI neural processing unit capable of 104 teraflops. So
I
it's
think
it's
the way that
it's
they're gonna
it's got beefy AI and it's going to have beefy hardware and beefy software. Man,
so
if
did
that's
Lisa
not the
Sue say that?
trifecta, yeah, that's according to the latest like rumors on like what the specs are.
Okay,
my
'cause, yeah, I
thing
know
is
she
they're gonna
said that it was
release it
coming
like
next year.
they're gonna
Yeah,
release
it
it like
is. So the AMD, the CEO of AMD came out and said the hardware was on track to launch
That's Lisa.
2027.
That's Lisa Sue, bro.
Yeah,
check
Lisa
this
Sue.
out.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have
Mama Sue.
two consoles, just like the Ally X and the Ally. One of them is gonna be hardcore
Yeah, it's
AI
got I think it's going to
GPU.
have two SKUs too. It's going
Yeah,
to be there's going to be a lower end model and then a higher end model.
yeah. The
Yep.
higher end is gonna be the one with the AI neural processing, chiplets, this and that, and then another one like Series X that's gonna be more lean towards machine learning
That
and
AI
cloud.
too is going to be pushing
Yeah,
6 watts of power.
Well, see,
So
when
you
you think
know it's
about it, like
whew.
the Series S does everything the Series X can do, just lower, right? I
yeah,
think
Yep.
it's gonna have all the same things, but two SKUs is the way to go, man.
it
I mean,
is.
to expect everybody to run out there and spend that kind of money,
Give
you know
your
what I mean?
consumers options. Yep.
Because
I'm going
like
for
this,
the bigger
like we
SKU.
want the Switch to go away, right? If you're a Nintendo fan, you want the PlayStation 4 to go away, you want the Xbox One to go away. But for Nintendo, the Switch can't go away because that's their low end model. And for Xbox, they gotta have those two SKUs because I think they want to. I think they kind of want to push people away, and those are probably going to be the new keystones, the new streaming boxes, Series X, Series S. Maybe the Series S, not so much the Series
Yeah,
X
they're
because
going to
it's still
have their own
powerful.
little Steam machine like box. I don't know if you saw that, but there was
Who?
Microsoft. There's been reports that they're working on a smaller form factor device similar to like a Steam machine box
Bro,
as a
honestly,
streaming a cloud. Yeah,
anything can be a Steam machine, and anything can be a an Xbox, right? Like literally, I know their advertisement. As long as they get that FSC down pat, is because that's the thing that most Steam Valve fanboys can hang their hat on is like once you put that Bazite or whatever the other one's called or Steam OS on, you don't have any problems. Like that thing is running, but the difference between the Steam OS or Bazite or anything else compared to a Windows full screen experience is that Windows is not trying to compete storefront wise the same way that Valve is. So you're gonna have Epic, you're gonna have EA with no problems. You're gonna have I think Rockstar's losing their launcher. You're gonna have Ubisoft with no problems. When you use Steam to play play games with other launchers, even if you bought those games, I returned Madden because I couldn't get Madden to work on the Steam Deck. You won't have those issues when it comes to Microsoft because these launchers they want to be on Windows. They don't want to be on Linux. Probably a lot of it has to do with DRM and some of them is for anti-cheat, but they're gonna play well with Windows, and so that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to. Like you don't have to buy an Xbox, but Xbox would probably be the best most procured experience to use Windows if you're going to be a Windows gamer, which the majority of people are. I think it's like 72% of people are Windows gamers. So Windows, Microsoft, they need to get that together, because maybe the Xbox does cost 1,500 or 1,400. That's fine. Go buy old hardware and put that Windows full screen experience on there, and you still have an Xbox PC platform.
Yeah, I
Make
think
sure.
I think. Go ahead. Sorry, Spartan.
No. Go for it. Go for it.
I was gonna say, I think the wireless capability is something they should have done, like Legal said a while ago. It's definitely a great feature that, once again, Microsoft is showing that they're listening to feedback and they're trying to implement things that'll be beneficial for us and for everyone, right, who enjoys their games. So it's a great idea. It's a great technology. I think it'll be fat. Obviously, you could if they could change the bandwidth to where you could bounce between 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. That would be optimal, because 2.4 is not very, can be unstable at times, especially if you have anything around your house that could block the signal or bounce the signal off. So it really depends on the consumer. But like I said, if you could switch the bandwidth, that would probably make it to where you wouldn't even notice it. It would be very fast, faster than Bluetooth, more reliable, I think, in terms of like controller input and everything. And so it's definitely a win. It's just showing that they're always looking for ways to either innovate or improve how they handle gaming, how they handle devices, how they handle their services. So this is just another benefit for Xbox gamers. It's just a great, unique little technology that just is going to come in clutch in the right ways. So I think it's good. I'm looking forward to the Elite controller, because we are hearing there's been like reports that it's obviously they're going to finally include haptic feedback for their newer controllers, for the Elite 3 and then for the next gen the Magnus controller. So they're definitely taking their cues and realize that Sony came up with something, or if they didn't, I don't know whom they might have copied from. But if you do, Legal, tell me. But because they're copy paste. But no. So with the new controllers, the haptic feedback, and they're going to have potentially AI benefits to the controllers as well. What that means completely, I'm not sure yet, but they could utilize the cloud and the updates that they do on the controller to basically change the code in such a way that it's going to be very instant. It would be like you'd have a wired connection, like that kind of speed, no latency. Everything you do, you feel it. Like maybe they use the newest haptic technology, because that the DualSense has been out for 5-6 years now, right? So the technology's old. So if they use the newer, latest and greatest haptic tech, we could be in for a special controller, guys. I'm definitely going to buy one if that's the case. But from what I'm hearing, that's what it's going to be. So,
It just
like
depends
I
on how
said,
much they outsource, Resident. Because see, the
yeah,
thing with PlayStation,
it's
like
true.
they don't own, and same with Nintendo, they don't own any part of the controller. That's immersion, like from the haptics to the locking triggers on PlayStation and the haptics. The only thing PlayStation has is the mic and the lights. Like there's nothing that PlayStation really brings as innovative that they make. Reason why Xbox wasn't so quick to move on haptics and all these other features is because Xbox, Microsoft, they actually own the Rumble. So why pay somebody else what you could do? They already paid for everything else. They got partnerships with Scuff for the Elite. They already pay for the analogs. And I think it's about time that they all like ditch that company and go to Hall Effects. But we'll see how that works too, because I don't think Hall Effect is a patent. That's something that somebody created back in like the 1800s that anybody can innovate on themselves. So that's the thing that it just depends on how much they want to outsource to where it will be pretty much the same haptics, or it could be something totally different, or if they came up with their own, or they found a company that they're going to partner with versus partner with immersion, like PlayStation and Nintendo did.
Xbox came
Now,
out with
I
everything
want to ask
first.
you guys about the price. Like, are you okay with it going to be potentially like 1,100-1,200 for the low end and then the 1,400 for the high end version? Is that okay with you?
I've accepted my fate, and I'm putting aside $2,000 for the enthusiast console because it's going to
Heck
be up
yeah,
there.
man. Yes, it's going to be, trust me.
Start saving, and whatever the price is, guaranteed with that console or the level mid-range entry.
It's going to be the equivalent of like a mid to high range tier PC from what I've been hearing.
I'm down. I'll be playing everything.
Well, honestly, AI makes everything high end.
True.
Because the only reason why you go pay the extra money is for extra frames and resolution. My bad, Spartan.
With this, I'd say 2K with games that we're gonna buy. Well, we got Game Pass actually. You know what I'm saying. So accessories that we're gonna buy, that's it. 2K. Put 2K aside. You're gonna guaranteed get another controller. Perhaps I hope they come out with a Kinect-like camera too. That'd be awesome too. I have on the side. If whoever's hearing me, whoever's watching the channel, send a message. Please bring out a Kinect-like camera. We all deserve to have it. I wouldn't mind having a camera and playing my racing games.
Yeah, 4K, so somebody could like watch your stream or watch you play.
Watch us play.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
I'd respect that. Throw in a little 4K, 8K camera, and then whenever you're gaming or racing or playing Halo or you're playing any game that you're playing, they could watch you stream or or just hop in and you got little sections on each quadrant of your TV, just like we have each section of a quadrants on this show here. A little picture-in-picture to the top right. We could all see each other, our expressions. We're happy, we're sad, pick up off each other's vibe, playing games, making sure that we're all good, even though we all do without the cameras. Our community is great. It's save 2K, man.
But yeah, they I think it's gonna be a good one, bro. It's just we don't know enough. But to answer your question, bro, we got allies, man. Like everybody on the deck, you know what I'm saying? We got allies, over $1,000 for a handheld. I think that we'll come up with, $1,400-$1,200 for a console.
Because the console's always higher than the handheld, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, no, the handheld is higher than the console. You know what I'm saying? So but now the PC, the console is a PC. And we start thinking of spending more money, and plus we know that they're not subsidizing. So the handheld was the first taste of unsubsidized hardware. You know what I mean? And why people are complaining, and now we see just how much we were blessed to be able to buy these consoles at those prices. Even at 500, we're probably supposed to be paying 700 for the 1X. You know what I mean? But we need to know more. But like I said earlier, the AI pretty much makes everything high end now, right? Because you paid big money so that you get more frames, higher resolution. But now with AI being what it is, and it's only going to get better by the time the Magnus comes out, it'll blend right in with everything else. I mean, what are they going to come up with next? I mean, what is it? It's not ray tracing. What's the one? The next one? Path tracing. Like, they pretty much moved past ray tracing on the path tracing. So it just needs to work. You know what I mean? Whatever they come out with, as long as AI is there, we already know we're getting a taste of it with the handhelds, small taste of it on consoles. They're doing way less than I expected them to do. And I had low expectation of these devs. I think Bethesda is one of the ones who uses the tools more than everybody else. We should be getting, frame gen on these consoles. We should be getting, VRS on more games, but we don't. And maybe that stuff gets remedied next generation. I'm not a PlayStation fan. I don't really like ponies, but I feel bad for them. They're gonna be still playing on a Pro until 2030. while everybody else is leaving them behind. and then we got to start.
Yeah. So when you say the Xbox this time is getting the biggest advantage because of how long it's going to be, they're going to get like 2 years almost before the PS6 comes out. That's a lot of time,
bro. It really comes
I
out
know.
in 2030. And then at the same time, we know PlayStation isn't thinking like Microsoft. They might start moving like Nintendo and bringing out weaker hardware. But the problem with the PlayStation trying to do that is if third party's not down with it, then PlayStation's going to have to step up because nobody's really checking for PlayStation games. So it's like with Nintendo, they can put out the hardware and put out a Pokemon that looks like it came out 15 years ago and people still run out to buy it. So we're gonna be like PlayStation 5 Pro is holding back gaming next gen. We're gonna be like, man, PlayStation 5 is holding back gaming. You know what I mean? And the thing with the Xbox, no hardware has to hold back hardware. Yeah, because they will genuinely be holding back gaming, bro.
They always blame it. Yeah.
If it takes them until 2030,
we just enjoy gaming, man. We know we got everything on our side. The ball's in our court. The game's in our court. Everything's in our court. We're just letting others have the opportunity to play that what we've played that's legendary, iconic, and chartbusters. They're sitting there complaining about that. Then
at least they're finally getting some games, right? The games that they supposedly hate the most.
Yeah,
Xbox games.
We run the game. Except this. It's over in terms of exclusivity. If you want to sit there and play that game, Xbox owns all the publishers, okay? It's coming out of us, from us to you exclusively on your platform from our exclusive stores, okay?
Sony just admitted that their games are going to get delayed, so there's going to be even longer waits and less games. We're giving them all the games.
They're way too late. These Sony's 5 years too late in the game to what we've done. We're ahead of the curve now. We released our Xbox Series X on time. We released it with amazing specs and powerful, beautiful, modern, sleek design. They didn't do that. They sat there and put duck lips on a fucking, excuse my language. They look like duck lips. We went for quality. They went for cheap and quantity. It doesn't matter the amount of consoles you sell anymore. The only thing that matters right now, who plays your games on. Like, we got to sell games. Like, there's selling music CDs. Remember back in the day, Eminem released a CD, 8 million sales in 1 week? Did anybody
never has a company released the same game 5-6 times? Sony.
and the thing is, when they release that one CD, it's not only being played in the house, it's playing in a different CD player in the car. It's being played on a Zoom. It's being played through your phones. It's being played through your laptops. It's being played through your TVs. Now, I hope everybody starts understanding, the ones that didn't understand, on why it's really important to release your game on everything that's out there. Because if it doesn't sell, you might as well throw your console out.
That's right, man. Are y'all all finished,
I'm really
man?
glad that they went out there.
Excellent today, man.
Legal, you're muted.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I said, y'all been.
I hear him. I hear him.
Any final things y'all want to say, man? Y'all killed it, man. I enjoyed all y'all's comments, man, and the Mighty Chat Pass comments. I enjoyed everybody here today, man. Any last words from any of y'all, man?
Not on this.
No, just to point out that nobody's doing perfect. Like, nobody's got the best financial reports, right? We've got all three video games companies, and everybody's had quite a few negatives. So it's just going to show that people can't afford games right now. Not as, at least less than last 3 years, right? Because of the tariffs, because of rising prices on everything, including even just your basic food and eggs. So like, people are kind of not able to have that extra money to be able to spend on it, but people are still buying games, you know, especially the hardcore, the small minority are still buying games. But
I said that's by design, bro. to get the crumbs off the table, because if you take away the disposable income, making people look. If Rockstar comes out $200, you think people gonna buy Grand Theft Auto? Yep. So if you spend $200 on Grand Theft Auto come Christmas time, and you spend $150 for the collector's edition, it ain't gonna be $200. Come Christmas time, what's gonna be left? How many parents are still gonna run out and want to go spend $70 per game? I think it's for design, man, because you got like Steam announced 20,000 games last year. Probably gonna be that much this year as well. I think they're setting it up to get the crumbs off the table.
Okay, everybody. I want to say thanks to everybody that came out today, man. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the Mighty Chat Pack. Hey, Realist, send us out of here, man. Get us out of here, Realist.
Hey, shout out to everybody who hung out. I was late myself, but y'all keep it gaming. Stay off social media as much. I want to see more. What is it? More gameplay and less talking, less hating. Let's talk about what we like versus what we don't like more. On that note, I'm out.
We out of here, y'all. Till next time. This is the new legal representing Di-RRec Gaming. Shout out to Resident Gamers. Shout out to Realist One. Shout out to Spark 117 in the Mighty Chat Pack. We out of here. Y'all stay safe, man. God bless. We'll see y'all soon.
Peace.
Peace.